A candle symbolizes light in darkness of life, the search for truth, clarity, and inner illumination. But to a child, a candle symbolizes time waiting, hoping for an incarcerated parent. Lighting a candle can also be seen as seeking guidance or understanding, or just simply celebrating one birthday after another. Because once the candle is lit, it becomes a symbol of time.
When I found out that my mom had been sent to prison, I felt an overwhelming sense of isolation. I felt estranged from my friends. Whenever they talked about their parents or seeing their mom or telling funny stories about family gatherings, I just was silent because I didn't want to bring down the mood. I felt like I was sincerely and utterly alone.
I don't think I truly ever dealt with any feelings or emotions in regards to my mother being incarcerated, even to this day. I was an only child, so I kind of lived through my imagination. So a lot of times what I would do is I would create these alternate realities. So in my head, I had this fantasy, so to speak, of her coming home one day. So I lived in that fantasy. That was really my coping mechanism when, any feeling would come up. I think as a child, I would go into this fantasy of her coming home and what vividly, I was an only child by myself, so my imagination was huge. So I would just live vicariously through those fantasies to cope. That's kind of how I dealt with any feeling. So I never really embraced how I feel to this day.
When mothers are incarcerated, the children are most often cared for by grandparents. The trauma is long-lasting for the child of an incarcerated parent. Issues of abandonment and anxiety prevail into adulthood. Many families can't afford therapy for the child or for themselves.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from an inmate at
Arendelle State Prison.
Hey, Mommy.
Children love their parents no matter where they are. They want and need to talk to and to spend time with their parents. The judicial system is designed to incarcerate. The carceral system is designed to reform. Neither system is designed to consider or accommodate the children of incarcerated parents. These children become collateral damage. The children's mental health is impacted through adulthood.
When my mom went to prison, I very quickly spiraled into drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism for my isolation, my depression, and my anger. And it was a vicious cycle that continued for years. It really tore me apart from the inside out. I wasn't addressing the root of the problem. I was just treating the symptoms. But today, after much self-reflection and research and outside support, I have discovered much more healthy coping mechanisms, such as physical activity and therapy, and overall just learning to be more honest and open about my experiences.
I think I developed a sense of detachment from reality. Again, just going back to being an only child and being able to live in my head a lot of times. So coping wasn't even a thing because everything was fine. Everything was always fine. I never allowed myself to feel feelings that would make me be unhappy. I didn't necessarily have an unhappy childhood, but what most people would feel not having their parent around, especially a mother, I wasn't depressed. I wasn't, sad. I wasn't resentful. I didn't lean to drugs or alcohol, but I think what I did do, my vice was men and sex, because relationships was something that I could control. I could control what I did with my body. I could control who I dealt with. Well, of course, until I couldn't, when I got with the wrong person. So my relationship with my mother, her being away, I developed a detachment love style. I developed a detachment between love and sex, between love and relationship, between relationship. So that detachment that was what helped me cope. That was my coping mechanism. I can detach way too easily.
If I could tell my younger self anything, it would be, you're not alone. You may feel alone, but you're not. There are countless other families that have been affected by incarceration. You just don't know it. And you'd be amazed to find out how many people have experienced incarceration in their family in some way, shape, or form. The problem is they don't talk about it, probably for the same reasons that I never talked about it, because I felt estranged, and I felt like there was a stigma.
I would tell my younger self that this isn't your fault, that you have no control over what's going to happen, what did happen, and it isn't even yours to control. You didn't do anything, because I think as a child, we sometimes feel like, or even as adults, what did I do to deserve this? That this has nothing to do with you. These weren't your choices. This is just where we are.
There is a sense of urgency to lock men and women up for the crimes they commit, but there's no urgency to support the children they're forced to leave. We say it takes a village to raise a child, but these villages lack desire and the power to provide real solutions. A significant amount of research has gone into studying children of incarcerated parents, yet children of incarcerated parents remain in the shadows. Gathering information is not enough. Information should be used to implement solutions. We have resource officers in the schools for discipline. We need a trauma counselor in the schools for children of incarcerated parents and other trauma with activities and sensitivity training for teachers. We need our churches to create after-school programs geared toward the caregivers and children of incarcerated parents that makes them part of the community and not a charity case. We need year-round community and mentorship programs that support whole child wellness. We need legislation to protect children of incarcerated parents and support their mental, emotional, and physical health so they don't have to suffer the compounded trauma of living without the person who gave them life. We need children to know that they are seen, that they have a voice, and that their voice will be heard.
Children of incarcerated parents need a support system. They need to know that they're not alone. They need to know that what they're experiencing is not their fault, and it's not something that alienates them from anybody else. They need to know that their parents will be cared for by our system, and they need to know that they will be rehabilitated, not just punished. And I think that's a big fear that a lot of kids have, is that their parents are only being punished and that they will never see them again. And that when they get out, they might not have changed for the better. In fact, they might have changed for the worse. And I think they need reassurance that our system is working to help individuals instead of simply punish them.
I think children of incarcerated parents need to always have a connection to their incarcerated parent. They need resources and they need support to keep that connection, because I believe that was the one thing that I was blessed to have, a supportive family that would take me to see, supportive grandparents that would take me to see my mom, that I was able to speak with her daily for those 27 years. So if I didn't have that, I know that my feelings towards her would be totally different to this day. They would be totally different. I don't hold any resentment because I was able to develop a relationship even long distance. But I feel like there's a lot of children that don't have that support. And there are a lot of people don't realize how important just having that line of communication with their parent that's incarcerated actually is.
Children need ways to be able to talk about how having an incarcerated parent makes them feel. Children of incarcerated parents need your help to strengthen the flame on their candles. After all, the candle signifies light in darkness of life, the search for truth, clarity, and inner illumination. J Lane is a book about 4 children of different backgrounds who are experiencing the same trauma and learn that they are not alone. It encourages children to communicate how they feel about losing a parent to incarceration. I wrote this book because I know firsthand the effects that incarceration had on me and my child. To learn more, please use the landing page below.